Dr. Carl Sweat will provide the invocation.
Our Father and our God, we gather at a moment of celebration. For the college, it started yesterday where faculty and staff came together and served at the end of the year celebration and transitioned over to a chat and greet of students that were to graduate today. And so we find ourselves here today with those who have accomplished their goals. We pause briefly for a moment to reflect that this calendar year has been a year of safety and security in an educational environment. We rejoice with our graduates, for they will go to their respective places, their work ventures, and some even to higher institutions of learning. But we rejoice because they are adequately prepared to take on challenges and turn them into opportunities. We rejoice because we are an equipped people, equipping this service region. We ask that you would continue to bless each and all. Bless our community, bless our state, bless our nation, continue to bless our world. Amen.
Good evening. We are delighted to see everyone here tonight. At this time, Mrs. Patricia Soul, chair of our local college board, will bring a welcome from the board and introduce our platform and special guest. Ms. Soul.
Good evening. Ladies and gentlemen, graduates, faculty, and honored guests. I'm happy to welcome all of you to the 42nd commencement honoring the 2013 graduates of Paul D. Camp Community College. Tonight we have regional elected officials with us. Would each of you please stand to be recognized? Virginia General Assembly Delegate, the Honorable Rick Morris. Virginia General Assembly Delegate, the Honorable Rosalind Tyler. City of Franklin Vice Mayor, the Honorable Barry Cheatham. And the Southampton County Board of Supervisors Chairman, the Honorable Mr. Dallas Jones, Southampton County Board of Supervisors. If there are any other elected officials present and I did not recognize you, would you please stand? Thank you. It is now my honor to introduce to you our platform guest for this evening. Please hold your applause until all have been introduced. Beginning on my far right, Professor David Leidick, Chief Marshal, Mrs. Felicia Blow, Vice President of Institutional Advancement, the Honorable Westbrook Parker, retired judge and executive director of the AMS Foundation, and our keynote speaker, and our college president, Dr. Paul Conco. On my far left, Mrs. Trina Jones, Dean of Student Services, Mrs. Ida Thompson, an officer with the Omega Zeta chapter of the college's Phi Theta Kappa Honor Society, Mrs. LaQuisha McGlone, our 2013 student speaker, Dr. Carl Sweat, coordinator of the college's Smithfield Center, and Dr. Alan Harris, interim vice president of instruction and student development. We will now recognize our local college board. Not all members could be here tonight, but those present will stand when their names are called. Please hold your applause until all have been introduced. Representing the city of Franklin, Ms. June Fleming, Mr. J. Patrick Newman, and Mr. Asa Johnson. Representing Isle of Wight County, in addition to myself, Ms. Carolyn Hurt and Ms. Lynn Jones. Representing Southampton County, Mr. A. Meredith Phelps, Mrs. Keisha Watford, and Mrs. Saritha Wright. Representing the city of Suffolk, our board vice chair, Mr. Richard Brooks, Mrs. Jean Copeland, Mr. James Samuel Glasscock, and Mr. Kermit Hobbs. Along with us tonight are some of our Paul D. Camp Community College Foundation Board's members. Will you all stand to be recognized if you are here? Foundation Board. Thank you. Thank you.
At this time, we are pleased to present a few awards that acknowledge significant personal contributions of several individuals to the college and to the community. First, we recognize the Paul D. Camp Community College's 2012 Virginia Community College Association Showcase winners. Each year at its convention, this association recognizes outstanding faculty and staff from each of the 23 colleges in the Virginia Community College system. This year, we had several members of our college family who received recognition. At this time, I invite our 3 2012 Showcase honorees to join me on the stage. Please hold your applause until they are all recognized. The first award recipient is Mrs. Nancy Warren, English instructor. Next, we have Mrs. Beverly Mason, adjunct English instructor and testing coordinator. And we have Karen Jenkins, former business office assistant. I also want to recognize the college's first VCCA Lifetime Membership Award recipient. Dr. Alan Harris, will you join me, please? Dr. Harris currently serves as Interim Vice President of Instruction and Student Development for the college and as counselor. This award is given only when a recipient has demonstrated significant contributions to the Virginia Community College Association. Dr. Harris has been an active member and leader with the VCCA for more than 20 years. It is indeed a very significant accomplishment when your peers recognize and celebrate your work. Congratulations, Dr. Harris. And now, Mrs. Hyler Scott, will you please join me on the platform? I am very pleased to announce that Mrs. Hyler Scott has been selected by a committee of her peers at Paul D. Camp Community College to receive the 2012-2013 Award for Excellence in Education. Ms. Scott serves as a counselor and is based on our Suffolk campus. As a counselor, Mrs. Scott has played a significant role in the success of many students. As a devoted long-term counselor on our Suffolk campus, she models servant leadership. She values and celebrates student successes, and she motivates them to do their best. As you can well imagine, having the proper support and having a trusted advisor to talk with can have a huge impact on a student's success or failure. It can also affect how likely a student is to complete his or her degree. Mrs. Scott's expertise, knowledge, wisdom, compassion, and professionalism are tremendous assets to the college and our community. Hyler not only receives a beautiful plaque and our heartfelt thanks, but also $300 is added to her professional growth and development funds for use at her discretion. This will come in handy as Ms. Scott is currently pursuing her doctoral degree from Capella University. Please join me in congratulating Mrs. Hyler Scott on her selection. Excellence in Education Award. Mrs. Judy Beglin, would you please join me on the stage? It is a great pleasure to present the 2013 J. Paul Council Jr. Community Service Award to Mrs. Judy Beglin, President and Chief Executive Officer of Opportunity, Inc. Opportunity, Inc. serves as a staff organization to the Hampton Roads Workforce Development Board. Allow me to tell you a little bit about Mrs. Beglin. She was a natural for this wonderful honor due to her full engagement with the college, her long-term contributions to and within our service region, and most importantly, her powerful advocacy for workforce initiatives. Mrs. Beglin joined Opportunity, Inc. in 2003 as its president and CEO. As leader of this organization, Mrs. Beglin oversees federally funded workforce development programs which assist business in accessing qualified workers. In her role, she also assists job seekers in finding suitable job openings and bolstering their earning power through education and training. Opportunity, Inc. has partnered with the college and our Workforce Development Center on numerous initiatives, providing hundreds of thousands of dollars in financial support and grants to us in our regional workforce training efforts. In partnership with our own Randy Betts, Mrs. Beglin ensures that programs are designed to respond to the needs of the business community. All of this helps guarantee that our area has a workforce that is second to none. Mrs. Beglin is a longtime resident of Smithfield, Virginia. She holds a bachelor's degree in interdisciplinary studies, summa cum laude, as well as a master's degree in economics, both from Old Dominion University. Congratulations, Judy.
I really wanted to thank the local board of Paul DeCamp, the faculty and staff, and of course Dr. Conco for this wonderful honor. I am really humbled by the recognition because, as all of you know, it's never one person to get a job done as big as what's necessary around tomorrow's workforce. And I look out and see so many of you tonight celebrating your success in your education and training. And tonight is your night, and I wish you all the very best. Thank you so much.
At this time, I would like to ask Mr. Calvin Holt to briefly stand. Let me tell you how pleased we are that Calvin is here in our audience. He's recovering from major surgery. The designation of Professor Emeritus is a rare honor given to a retired college faculty member or administrator who has made significant and long-term contributions to the college. This year, we recognize the astounding educational contributions of Calvin Holt. In the summer of 2012, Calvin retired from his position as Associate Professor of Mathematics after 36 years of teaching at the college. Calvin has worked under the direction of all 7 presidents of the college, starting in 1976. He also has taught almost all math classes offered by the college, from developmental math to pre-calculus. Until 2002, he also taught computer courses as well as math courses. In addition to teaching over the years, he served on nearly every committee of the college and as faculty advisor to both education and business administration programs. Now he is remaining busy with his volunteer work as a board member and treasurer of Southampton Franklin Habitat for Humanity and as chair of his church finance council. It is with great pride and respect that the appointment of Professor Emeritus is conferred on Mr. Holt with all the rights and privileges. Please join me again in congratulating all of our special award recipients. At this time, I'd like to invite to the lectern our Dean of Student Services, Mrs. Trina Jones.
Good evening. And now it is my pleasure to introduce our student graduation speaker, Mrs. Lakeisha McGlone. Lakeisha is a born and raised native of Suffolk, Virginia, and is a graduate of John Yates High School. Lakeisha is a dedicated mother and wife. She considers herself to be an optimistic and colorful person. Mrs. McGlone has been an active member of New Life Suffolk Non-Denominational Church for 5 years and currently serves as her church's youth leader. Mrs. McGlone held the office of president for the college's Student Government Association from 2010 to 2012. She also served as Paul D. Camp Community College's Science Club vice president from 2010 to 2011. Tonight, Mrs. McGlone will receive her associate's degree in general studies. Her current goal is to obtain a Bachelor's of Science degree in business management with an emphasis on project management. Mrs. McGlone's long-term goal is to own a family-operated business that specializes in visual art. Please give a warm welcome to our 2013 student speaker, Ms. Lakeisha McGlone.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome 2013 graduate. I would like to thank the professors, the family, the friends, all for your patience in enduring us on this journey. I would like to begin with, let's see, forgive me, I have to move it. I would like to begin, I want to ask you to visualize the game of rock, paper, scissors. This game is based on hand gestures to decide which person would have the upper hand in decision-making. Instead of flipping a coin or drawing straws, hand gestures are made to resemble rock, paper, scissors. A rock can crush scissors. Scissors can cut the paper, and paper can defeat the rock by covering it up. If both players choose the same object, then whoever gets 2 out of 3 is the winner. And the purpose for this is just to decide, so if you're a teenager and you have 2, who gets the car for the weekend? Who gets to watch their favorite TV show? In this game, all the objects are of equal value. Each has the potential to make you a winner. But as adults, the decisions become more complicated. The rock may personify your mentor, a person of encouragement, someone with endless experience and wisdom to guide you. Paper is often seen as harmless and seems easy to destroy, but if you utilize it to your best ability, you would have a vast of resources. Your counselors could be your paper. They become the foundation of helping you to organize your plans on your collegiate journey. Scissors represent the people or their experiences, sometimes good and bad. They show you when and where to cut off roadblocks and obstacles. Scissors can be a useful tool to shape and form extraordinary things like your future. I had all these elements in during my tenure at Paul D. Camp Community College. Some examples of my rock, paper, and scissors were my home, my faith, and my colleagues, and my college environment. My husband, one of my rocks, was out of school for many years, and he decided to re-enroll in an administrative justice program. He encouraged me to hang out with him twice a week in the library. Hey, come on, hang out in the library, wait for me 2 hours. And I did this for a whole semester. He received an A. I received nothing. Needless to say, I thought about it. I've logged in as many hours as he has. I have nothing to show for it. Inspiration struck. That's when the paper and scissors showed up. Paper lays that strong foundation while scissors can mold those good or bad things that will encourage you to push forward. There were many days I wanted to give up due to those scissors, being ill, sick children, financial strain, and major transportation problems. One morning I faced a pair of scissors that defined my future. I remember that day vividly because I did not have the fare to purchase a bus ticket to get to school. I thought about my paper, one of my foundations, my mother. She drove a beat-up Plymouth to Norfolk State to attend her classes, a 60-mile trip every day. I remember my mom telling me how the car drank a quart of oil every day, and my grandfather sharing $20 of his $50 salary per week. Telling me all these things encouraged me, and I remember that day. I remember my grandfather, my mother's rock, pacing the floor every day waiting for her to arrive home safely. And she would arrive home safely in her chitty chitty bang bang car. Had one windshield wiper, no heat, window didn't work, and I know these things because I rode in it. So I got organized that day. I thought about the advice my counselors gave me. Always have a plan. That day I swallowed my pride and I proudly dispensed 200 pennies into the bus coin slot. It took several minutes to do this, and from the look on the bus driver's face, he was irritated. I looked the bus driver in the eye, and I asked him, have you forgotten about how the baby boomers walked several miles to get to school? I asked him, have you forgot about how the slaves risked their lives just to learn their ABCs? And he turned around. He didn't say a word. He was irritated. I most certainly would not miss my math exam, my best subject, because my fare consisted of 200 pennies. When I took my seat, I noticed the bus was not moving. And I said, oh no, I know he's not gonna say something again. He told me not to get up here with 200 pennies. I heard that the first time. Ain't nobody got time for that. The bus driver called me to the front, and that day, he gave me a piece of paper. He purchased a bus ticket for me the rest of the week. In closing, by allowing my faith, the Heavenly Father, the greatest rock that I stand, my professors, my advisors, my supervisors, my friends, my colleagues, my enemies, I stand here today having successfully completed my program study. There are two groups in this room, the graduates and the rock, paper, scissor people. Graduates, as you march across this floor to receive your degrees, think about the rock, paper, and scissors that you had throughout your course of study. Ask yourself, are you willing to do the same for others? The answer is simple. I am able. Thank you.